I started 2025 expecting the new year to magically change my life. But I didn't know that in order to change, I should change. 3 days after New Year, I finally decided to step out of my comfort zone, not for anyone else, but for myself. And that made me make a promise to myself that changed everything. I just want to remind you that I always take care of you, no matter what. It had been a while that I'd been staying at home most of my time. Since October 2024 that I applied for Ireland visa, I had been staying at home because I didn't have anything to do outside and I didn't want to start anything new. And because of that, I would feel like I'm caged. It was my routine to wake up every day, watch multiple episodes of Friends, record or edit some videos, then end the day with watching a few K-dramas with my parents. And then I would go to bed feeling exhausted from doing nothing. Though I had a few friends that I could go out with once in a while, or at least we would plan to go out together, and the exact night before we would go out, they would cancel on me and leaving me high and dry. I don't know why, but I felt like I can share it with you. Today I had a big plan that I've been so excited about it for a week, but at the last second it just got cancelled. At first I was like disappointed, but now I'm like, okay, it was not that bad. Sometimes how much you try, it doesn't happen, so you should always have plan B. Every time I would act like, oh, I'm okay with that, but deep down inside I was frustrated that the control of my life was in someone else's hands instead of myself. By January 3rd, I knew that I should make a change and I should take back the control of my life. And that made me plan a date to my favorite part of the city, and this time I made sure that it wouldn't be cancelled. Because this time it was with someone that I trusted and she was the most passionate about it. And that someone was me. Right. For the first time in my life, I officially decided to step out of my every comfort zone. And the first step for me was to go out on a solo date only for the hell of it. There's a street in Tehran that is filled with bookstores and cafes, which you know that's my favorite combination of joy. For the solo date, I went there for the first time, not for doing anything special or meeting anyone. Just myself, my flask of tea, and my old silly Persian hip-hop playlist, which by the way I cannot live without. Now I've got a book that I like and another one for investing, which is also I have my tea with myself and a little chocolate. I'm so happy. For the first time, the control of my time was in my own hands, as well as the control of where I wanted to go, what I wanted to eat, and what I wanted to buy. But oddly, my favorite part was sitting in the bus for 2 hours and listening to my Persian hip-hop playlist while watching the streets that just a while ago I used to believe I would never see again. I went solo and my timing was like it suits me like my timing and everything, because whenever you go with other people you should go with their timing and you can't go like wherever you want and buy anything and then whenever you want go back, you know. That's the thing, and I had no stress. I had zero stress. It was so good. And you know, I wasn't tempted to go to coffee shop and anything. It was all my own plan, and I went with the flow, and it was so good. And I listened to silly musics, which was great. I stepped out of my comfort zone, and it was amazing. However, after those 2 hours, I got back to reality when I stepped back into our house. I still had the same routines, but this time with a change. This time, before getting back to my comfort zone, I took my next courageous step by going to a shoe exhibition with my father. And this is my look for going to work. This is so beautiful, but not convenient at all. Yeah. I was there helping him selling shoes for 3 whole days, while honestly, since the very first hour, I wanted to escape. But I fought with my social anxiety and I stayed through the hard parts of talking with new people. Though it was one of the best experiences for me in business and in real world. And with that, I realized that business is not just about aesthetic charts and Canva boards. I still didn't know what it was, but I learned that what it wasn't. Those steps were so huge for me that I needed a comfort zone to escape into when things were getting overwhelming. And as always, I choose my all-time comfort zone, which is watching Friends. Starting Friends for the 5th time for the yeah. I'm so happy. Look at this baby. Yeah, I decided to watch Friends for the 5th time right after I finished it for the 4th time. As I wanted to grow in 2025, I also decided to make vision board like last 3 years. But my printer was broken and even after fixing it 3 times, it still wouldn't work. So I ended up printing them in one of those printer shops, which made my pictures turn out better than my own printer. It was January 14th, the day that is famous for when people quit their New Year's resolutions, that I just made my vision board, ironically enough. Before making my vision board, I realized that I missed my January semester in Galway University as my visa result of Ireland would take so much longer than expected, and after 4 months it wasn't still released. And that made me think about alternatives. As I was still thinking about Thailand, I put the picture of Thailand right above the picture of Ireland just in case. I was also secretly wishing that I go to Thailand instead of Ireland. But anyway, I've made vision board for several years, but this time I knew that something was different. Not the shiny pictures, not even my ambitious goals, but the simple sentence that I said and I meant it. I promise you that I'm gonna achieve them all until next year. That simple promise that I put out there made me commit to my vision fully. And committing to my vision for me was doubling down my effort on my channels, which would always end up with 2 fixed solutions. I should have first defined new ideas, and then I should have tried to monetize my channels in 30 days. The combination of those two made me start a mission to make 30 long-form videos for my YouTube to post every single day for 30 days. Like I could cast magic in those 30 days. That mission was so big that actually scared me and made me question my abilities and knowledge. And that fear showed itself in my over-planning and over-complicating things. I started by spending days on finding the ideas for those 30 videos, only to spend more time on researching about each one of them. At the same time, my friend who kept canceling on me offered to go out with me. I accepted, but this time not out of loneliness and desperation. I accepted because I was curious to see what would I gain from showing up on my own terms. And also we wanted to go to a Central Perk themed cafe, and what Friends fan am I if I say no to that? We went there, and since we arrived, I was so excited that I wouldn't shut up about Friends and my favorite scenes. Though my friend has never watched Friends in her life, and at one point I felt like I'm just talking too much, and as always I felt like I'm bothering her with over speaking. So I bit my tongue while deep down I was feeling like a geek. Thank God after that I had an hour to walk by myself to my favorite bookstore to buy my favorite books. And that made me stop overthinking until I got back home. That 1 hour walk to the bookstore showed me a reality that I knew all along, but I couldn't admit it because simply it was too weird. And that reality is that after talking and spending time with others, I feel drained. So I need to take my time to process everything in my mind. And if I don't have those me times, I would turn into a complainer zombie that no one dares to talk to. Anyways, after that day, I came back home sharp and ready to start working on my YouTube mission again. Though I would only get back to work after refreshing Ireland visa website a few hundred times and every time facing the same message. no result yet. Though again, I confused styling with working. I'm so tired, but I should work, so I have coffee here with my favorite mug. I think that I could only be productive if I dress like I'm always ready to be interviewed in Tonight Show. Yet with all of that mental pressure, I succeeded to make a few videos ready. It was on Valentine's Day that I finished creating my first video. What if I told you you can change your situation and level up your life easier than you think? In this video, I'm gonna share with you 5 life-changing habits of highly successful people that you can add to your own life to improve yourself. Also, they're not just theories. I personally use them and I'm the living proof that they actually work. And as at the beginning of the year I promised myself, I decided to treat myself with something nice. I treated myself with a hair makeover and also a bag that you can see the behind of it, but it is the bag and I still use it, which goes with every dress of mine, and it was the first bag I bought for myself, yeah. And also the cake that my father bought for my mom and I just added to the sweetness of the day. After Valentine's Day, I kept creating more videos and finally I uploaded the first video out of those 30 days videos. Soon I realized that how complicated it is to make each one of those videos, and that made me start by posting every other day. But apparently my system was even more complicated than I thought. So like an overloaded computer, my ambition just shut down after the first week and I gave up. Though at least I had those new videos on my YouTube channel. And also after giving up that mission, I immediately started a new mission on a new path. It was mid-February that along with posting long-form videos on my YouTube channel and short-form videos on my main TikTok channel, I also started a book talk channel. I really don't know what to say as this book was so amazing. At first I used the videos that I recorded before the new year, but soon I decided to make more videos for my book talk channel. I just read the Caravel and I'm so excited about the second book, which is gonna be legendary. As it was new and exciting, that distracted me from my main channels. Though soon I would realize that that channel would be anything but a distraction. When at the beginning of 2025 I promised myself to take care of myself, I also decided to set boundaries with people, and that made me take myself out more often than usual, give myself what other people wouldn't give me. For one of those solo dates, I decided to take myself to a cafe. The day that I wanted to go to that cafe, I woke up early, so passionate about it that I actually got ready so quickly, which was weird for me, you know, I don't usually get ready quickly. And it was also at the same time as my YouTube mission, so I wanted to work in a cafe for the first time. I got ready and left the house with my stuff. It was a cold winter day, and even with multi-layered outfits that I had been wearing, it was so chilly and I was freezing. It was a 10-minute walk, and when I was in front of the cafe, I just wanted to get into that cafe and escape from the chilling air outside. But the moment that I opened the door to that cafe, and even before stepping into the cafe, the smell of cigarettes filled my lungs and made me cough like a chimney. I was already there and people were around, and also there were no cafe around other than that one, which was the best combination for me to guilt trip myself and go to the cafe anyway. But I couldn't stay in a place that my body was obviously rejecting. So that made me find the courage to close the door to that cafe, step back and breathe the fresh air while going back to my home. And I walked back home with the fire of pride and dignity in my veins. That experience made me realize that setting boundaries is not only about people, but it is also about the places I go, the things I consume, and about almost everything in the life. Setting boundaries is not always about people. Like, sometimes you should set boundaries about where you go, what you want to do, and anything. And I realized that when it doesn't respect my boundaries, I should just close the door and step away unapologetically and ruthlessly.